Hey everyone, this is Wayne here. I'm with Community Coach Workshop Productions, and this is Gill with Loose Toast Productions, and he has a video game that they are working on called Decimation. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about your video game. How did you get the idea for it? How did you start it? And why did you create it?
Thanks, Wayne. Decimation came about many years ago when I was trying to break into the video game industry.
Okay.
I was in my 20s and teaching myself how to program, and I made this little teeny space shooter.
Okay.
And it was good enough to be picked up as a shareware game, and then I was able to use it as a resume to get hired with a Southern California video game company. And so it just kind of got shelved, and old technology never really picked it up again. Fast forward now, I'm 53, and I'm here with my family, and I'm thinking, you know what? I want to get back into the video game stuff. It's always fun. My children are playing games.
Yeah.
Let's start a video game, a little independent video game company, studio. And we came up with a silly little name, Loose Toast Productions.
Okay.
And I can tell you a story about that. It's kind of funny. But
Okay.
so we're thinking, okay, what are we going to do? What's the idea for this first game that we're going to put out for our little studio? And I kind of said, well, why don't we resurrect that old game that I first started with? And it was real simple, but now let's kind of reimagine it with today's technology. PC, Xbox controllers, multiplayer, 4 players on a screen kind of thing, fast action. It was an arcade kind of Twitch, quick, bright graphics, fun explosion sounds and stuff, space shooter game.
Yeah.
And so we've just kind of added to that, brought the children in, and they're like, okay, what are we going to do, Dad? Let's make it this. Let's add this to it. And so we've just kind of been putting this whole thing together, and it's just been evolving over the last 2.5 months, and we're really excited about it. It's a lot of fun. We can't quit playing it, and we're hoping that we can get a lot of people excited about it in our valley and really in the whole nation. And just, it's like, come on, this is a little indie game made by a little indie game company. It's a family thing. So.
Absolutely. And I think that's the perfect opportunity is anybody that's listening to this right now, they can kind of get in on the ground floor and maybe help do some beta testing and kind of give you guys some feedback. And you're really at that beginning layer stage. So anybody that's really interested in, helping contribute, offering feedback, and wants to get in on that ground level, now's the time and now's the opportunity. So where can people go? I'll obviously post a link down below, but what is the link and what is the website called?
Probably the best place to go would be to our company website, so loosetoastproductions.com.
Okay.
Or just loosetoast.com. And go there and fill out the contact form. That will put you in touch with us. That way we have your contact info and we can blast out to you. You can also go to indiedb.com. You can go to itch.io. You can go to Game Jolt. And all of those are, if you're a game player, those are all kind of indie game repositories where you can go and look at thousands of games that people are putting out there and search for Decimation, and then you'll find our page and just follow it. Just follow it, like it, and that will allow us to be able to, anytime we make a post, and we're trying to make at least weekly posts, kind of giving you updates where we're at in the development, introducing some of the characters and some of the action and stuff that you're going to need to know how to do when you're playing it, and that way you can follow us. And then we are, as Wayne said, we are looking for a handful of qualified beta testers that we're going to give early release to. We're currently at our pre-alpha, so it's very playable. It's a lot of fun. You can win and lose. A lot of the extra stuff isn't in there. Right now we're working on ship upgrades and being able to add extra power-ups and all that kind of stuff to your ship. So that's really cool. But we need people to step up and say, okay, I'm going to play and I'm going to give you feedback. And so we're looking for those kind of partnerships with our community.
That's great. And that's what I really like about it is we've got a really nice, tight local feel. Like, hopefully this game does catch on, nationwide and globally, or, it gets as big as it can get. But really, right now, it's just kind of local in the community, and other people that are in the community, they can talk with you as the creator. They can offer you some feedback. You're trying to get some game nights going together, with some of the local businesses, and pairing what you're doing with some of the local businesses, and make the whole thing a family style event. And that's really why I wanted to be a part of this and help out with this, is because you're taking something that is very popular with the kids.
Right.
I don't know any kids that do not play video games
Right.
at all. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's just impossible now.
Even some big kids.
Yeah, even the big kids play the video games. And then you're taking that and you're creating a good, wholesome game that's, you know, that's got it. You can win things and you can do things, but it's in a wholesome base and wholesome manner. And you can play that with your 5-year-old, your 9-year-old, your 15-year-old, your 18-year-old, you know, and your 50-year-old brother or whoever, anybody,
Sure.
your dad, your mom, anybody can play this game.
Right.
It's easy enough for anybody to comprehend. Grandma can play it. It's got that old school retro vibe, that, you know, like you said, that arcade style. It's very fast twitch. It's very bright. It's very appealing to the eye, and it's very high stimulating. But it also has that wholesome feel to it, and like I said, it is local. So getting more people to these local events, being able to try the game out, and then you can also see where you rank with other players, right? Isn't that what you said on the website?
Exactly. So what we're going to try to do is we're incorporating into the game a leaderboard, and we're going to incorporate that into a website specifically for the game Decimation. So when it's released, as you're playing it, you can sign up your name, and basically it's going to add you to the leaderboard if your scores are within, say, the top 25, top 50. We haven't decided yet. You're also going to get ranked. You're going to get medals. You know, you're going to be an aviator in a spaceship, and as you progress and you are able to save more and more space stations from these invading alien armadas, you get badges, and you get you know, your wings and wing commander and a fighter ace and all that kind of stuff. And so you can compete literally around the world. You get to compete with other players that have the game, not directly, but you get to compete from your scores and your ranking, and just kind of see, oh, where do I match up with that guy over there in India, or how do I match up with these people over here? You know, so that's going to be really cool, and we hope that that's going to kind of create a little community of, hey, we're Decimation players, and here's where we're at, our scores and our ranking, and so we think that's going to be pretty cool.
Absolutely, absolutely. Everything that I've seen, I've got a chance to witness, you know, all the graphics and everything, and so far I'm really impressed. It's really cool to see how far you guys have come in just a short time. It's only been 3 months or so, right?
Right,
It's
under 3 months.
Absolutely amazing how quick the progress is coming. And right now, everybody can go ahead and click that link below. You can get in on the ground floor. You can help. You can provide feedback. You're looking for that. You can also just be part of it as it comes out. Once you get on that email subscription list,
right,
then you're going to know when the game is officially released. You're going to get all these other pieces of information. So go ahead and make sure you sign up for that. It's not just to spam you and send a bunch of stuff to your email that you don't want. It's actually designed to help you know, send you things that you're going to need for that interest to play this game. So
absolutely.
I think that's completely awesome. You're also working with some local schools,
yes,
and some local kids to try and what is your purpose behind that?
So I was self-taught as a software engineer. I picked up, I think, my first book about programming when I was 12 years old back in Southern California, and taught myself how to program. And of course, the first thing I wanted to do was try to make one of those arcade games that I was dropping quarters in as a little kid. And of course, that took a long time. And it wasn't until I was in my 20s when I was actually able to make a really competitive, you know, video game that I would buy myself. But with that kind of background and that interest in teaching myself, I have a desire to teach other people. And so over the years, past 10 years in the Valley, I have been working with individual schools, primarily with the private schools, and they've brought me in and I've taught programming classes with students. And so I do have a love of programming and sharing that love with the upcoming generation. I've taught my 28-year-old son, who is now a professional software engineer, and I'm teaching my 18-year-old son. My 9-year-old daughter, who's sitting right over here next to me, she is teaching herself on Khan Academy, and she's coming over and, look, Dad, I'm coding this little spaceship moving and all this kind of stuff. So, you know, I love sharing the joy and the thrill of creating things, not just consuming, not just playing games, but making games. And maybe making games isn't where you're going to end up. Maybe it's going to be, you're going to write software that's going to help some industry, or you're going to, you know, end up being self-employed, because, you know, that's what I did. And that's what my oldest son is doing. And who knows how many more of my children will follow in that vein. So yeah, absolutely. We're working with schools, trying to get into the classrooms and kind of show them, look, you're learning about stuff, you're learning about math. It's kind of dry and boring. When am I going to use a sine and a cosine and tangents and arctangents? Like, what purpose is that? And it's very dryly presented in these books. I remember I took those classes and I thought, when am I going to ever use this? Well, guess what? Now I'm writing games and I'm using sines and cosines and tangents to figure out angles and arcs for the missiles and laser shots and tracking, having enemies track you. So it's really cool to see that math being applied in a very fun and interesting way, and you're like, oh wow, I guess I should have paid attention a little bit better in my trigonometry class. So.
Well, maybe that's what they needed. Maybe they needed a way to be able to pair what they're learning. I know that if somebody's trying to teach me a bunch of boring stuff that I don't care about and I have no application for it, I'm not going to pay as much attention as something that I'm really interested in.
Right.
So maybe that's the great little piece that you're adding to it here, is you're adding that little bit of flavor and you're adding that to it to say, this is where you take this boring, dry information, you add this flavor to it, and then you get a whole new outcome that comes out over here, and now you've got somebody who's passionate and interested in doing that. And that's one of the reasons that I really wanted to do this interview, is because you're taking this concept, you're making it local, you're bringing in the local people, you're teaching the local people, you're helping the local kids, you're working with local businesses, you're really rooting this thing deep down into the community here, and that's really why I wanted to be a part of this and why I'm just really happy to be able to interview you today. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank
Wayne.
you. And go ahead, click that link below, sign up, get signed up for that email, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Thanks
For joining us. Have a great day.